Hello everyone and welcome to Blog on Everything and welcome back to the channel. So what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Well, that is precisely what we found out today. And of course, the unstoppable force was none other than the GOAT himself, Anthony, all clad in the green and white of Real Betis. And of course, the immovable object being Barcelona with their 2025 no taking L's glitch, which you keep on wondering just how much longer this can go on for, but we'll see. I felt in particular that this is one match where probably taking an L would have been forgivable for Barca. Okay, and I'm not just saying that because the GOAT himself was on the pitch, but just, looking at everything else that happened in the Liga title race, with Real Madrid getting, just that late dagger from Hugo Duro at the Bernabeu to lose to Valencia at home for the first time in 17 years. But anyway, Barcelona managed to get the result that will ensure that Carlo Ancelotti keeps his job. A 1-1 draw here. Goals coming pretty early on in the match. First by Gavi, once again scoring against his old team. And by the way, quite a performance this one was by Gavi. And of course the other goal coming from Nathan, or is it Nathan? I don't know which one it is. It's spelled Nathan. The commentator kept on saying Nathan. The cognitive dissonance was kind of a thing for me during this match, as long as this guy was on the pitch. But yeah, that was basically how that ended for FC Barcelona. And I don't know, this round of fixtures this weekend, I feel like it's kind of just been tainted by the Champions League quarterfinal first legs that are right around the horizon. I mean, sure, you did have teams like Bayern Munich and Dortmund winning comfortably, Bayern winning 3-1. Dortmund just, dismantling Freiburg with a 4-1 win, which, that's, call that rival watch, I guess. But you look at everybody else, I mean, sure, Aston Villa got that 2-1 win over Forest, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest. And everybody else, though, didn't do so good. I mean, we'll ignore PSG and the fact that they won. I mean, it's PSG, it's Liga 1. Even if they're not in the Champions League, they farm wins in that league. But, Inter, Arsenal, Barca, Real Madrid, all failing to win on this weekend. And tell me, when was the last time that you had a match day, which had a weekend where all four of these teams failed to win a match? Real Madrid losing, Barca and Arsenal and Inter, of course, drawing. And I also say that, the stench, I should put it really, of the Champions League quarterfinals was on this match because you just saw how early Hansi Flick took off, Pedri took off, Frankie de Jong. When those guys are coming off, you just know that he's trying to lift something in reserve for Dortmund. Although you do then wonder why Lamine Yamal played the entire 90. Yeah. Anywho, Barca could have still won this one pretty late on. Like literally the last kick of the match was a brilliant ball that Rafinha flashed across the 6-yard area. If I say the 6-yard area, I mean the entire Real Betis box, with Fermin Lopez just, if only he was 2 inches taller, if he had worn a boot that was 2 sizes over, he probably would have put that one into the back of the net. Anywho, the win means that the draw means that Barcelona somehow still extends the lead at the top of La Liga, because Real Madrid lost by a point. It's now a 4-point gap for Barcelona. But then, I look at the fixture list and really it puts into just context how ridiculous La Liga's decision to have that Osasuna match in the international break really was. Because guess what? After, having played Osasuna, then having played Girona and Atletico de Madrid in a period of about 6 days, Barcelona, of course, now had this very tough fixture against a Real Betis team that is the other informed team in La Liga, okay? Barcelona's form turned around for the better in 2025 in La Liga and, everywhere else. But it wasn't Barcelona alone. The same thing happened to Real Betis once the GOAT graced the pitch, once the GOAT put on that Blanco Verde of Real Betis. Okay, once Anthony signed for Real Betis, they basically just won every match. You know, they've basically just won every match, and their form has been pretty good, and they've been playing with a high level of intensity. So having this game come so soon after that Atleti match in midweek, which you saw how the players were just completely gassed towards the end of it. Yeah, it's really crazy. And now you're telling me that sandwiched in between these two Champions League quarterfinals with Dortmund is a trip to none other than the mighty, the great, the venerable Leganés. Okay, Barcelona has to go away to Leganés and get the result. Otherwise, I'm thinking that's probably going to be the most dangerous fixture Barcelona is going to have, in this run of games. Because Dortmund, we already know that Barca aren't going to be too stupid to not take Dortmund seriously. But Leganés is the type of match which could go like Osasuna away went, where, Hansi Flick might decide to do an inordinate amount of rotations that could lead to Barcelona's team just being too disjointed to be able to put up a decent fight against Leganés. Plus, Leganés did come to Montjuic and get the dub, even though I did admittedly say that. A lot of that was due to Barca's poor finishing, so if they get their finishing on point, I guess, maybe give some minutes to Pablo Torre this time around, Mr. Flick. I do not know why he did not come off of the bench, looking just how much of a difference both Rafinha and Fermin Lopez made when they came on. I think bringing on the fresh legs of Pablo Torre as well would have done a lot. And also, I didn't get why Ferran Torres was pulled off so early in this match, considering that, El Tiburon has kind of been the guy for Barcelona at number 9 recently. So I don't know if that means Torres is starting against Dortmund because, he did score twice against them. Wouldn't be such a bad idea. Anywho, so many thoughts in my head. You just let me know what you're thinking. I know a lot of Madridistas did the most, crying and weeping and moaning about the fact that, they lost to Valencia and now La Liga is over, Barcelona are going to win it. But listen to me, okay? La Liga is not over. Like you've just seen here, Betis gave Barcelona quite a run for their money, and it's not just Betis. There are a lot of teams that Barcelona is playing in the remaining 8 matches, all of whom are playing for something. Starting with Leganés next weekend. They're playing for survival. Okay, so it's going to be a match for Barca. So you've still got Leganés, you've still got Villarreal, you've still got Celta Vigo, you've still got Real Madrid, you've still got Athletic Bilbao. All these teams, they're all playing for something. And Barca still has to face all these teams, and they still have to turn up, while, still going hard in the Champions League. So, yeah, it's going to be quite the run-in. La Liga title race is far from over. Do not listen to what okay, I understand the Madridista saying it, but anybody else who's not a Madrid fan who's telling you La Liga is over, don't buy it even for a second. There's still a lot of football. There's still a lot of fighting to do. And I will be here to cover all of it. Hopefully you'll be there as well to tune in. But aside from that, I thank you all. Have a great day and Forza Barça.